Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name's StepsBasic, and welcome back to Let's Play Here They Lie.
So, I goofed. I did a bad thing. Things have happened that are bad, and I did them. So, you see, I had recorded ahead a little bit, and I was on should be starting episode 7 today. Or recording episode 7 today. But I deleted episode 6. So, we're going to do a little speed run to get back to where we were. If anything interesting happens in the interim, I'll stop the little speed, fast forward, and then we'll talk about it. But until then, let's get this started.
Hello, StepsBasic from the future here. Well, from the past. I'm editing. But I've thought about, maybe doing just a 10-minute long video of me fast forwarding through a game, but then I'm like, that's going to be boring. Who would want to watch that? So I thought instead I'll put some nice music in the background. That's perfect, right? But again, you could just listen to the song. So I'm like, let's talk about this game. I played a lot of horror games in my life and a lot of walking simulators, and this game is a combination of the two. And while I'm not much of a fan of walking sims or, games that don't really have a whole lot of gameplay in them, I do have to admire this game for it does what it's supposed to do. It's a horror game, and it does creep you out. And it does a play on the psyche factor of horror, which is something you kind of like to look for in horror games, right? There are parts of this game that I don't really care for so much. I'm not into the whole red light district scenes. I'm not a big fan of those parts, but I like kind of how they play on society when they're talking about that part, when they're showing that part. It's like people dressed in masks to go and do the naughty things that they like to hide from. There's a lot of aspects of this game that I really do love, especially the stunning visuals, man. I mean, Dana, you think about Dana, she is gorgeous. And I don't even usually get fixated on pixelated characters very much, but Dana, ooh, they did a good job on her. And even the main character, I don't know what his name is, but they made him look good for an ugly person.
So that's what happened. Okay. Good to know.
That was one thing I liked about playing through this game again, was noticing the things that I'd missed before, like that corner part right there. I didn't know what had attacked me, but now I do. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, the visuals of this game. I mean, I played a lot of games, and I have to say, over the years, they keep getting better and better with the visuals. Certain parts of this game, I mean, they do really play on the darkness factor, which is something I'm not a fan of. It's a horror game, so yay, darkness, scary. Ooh, nyctophobia, right? But at the same time, everything's grayscale until you get to parts they really want you to pay attention in. Things like when the fire dude shows up, he starts to glow red. The red light district, where they're making their social commentary. And Dana, every time you see Dana, she's the golden glow that you're pursuing throughout this game. And the monsters, I have to say, I like the fact that the monsters are all human. It's very interesting. It doesn't really break the immersion. The visuals they use to represent the monster in this game, the skulls, the blood, the psychopaths hiding in masks and whatnot, and it's just really adds to the creep factor, because there's very little supernatural about this game, but they play on that really well.
This game is building up my nerves, yo. It's getting on all of them. We got this. We're still making through. We're still making good progress.
That scene alone right there was good enough to really secure in my mind. I mean, it was a cheap jump scare, so to speak, but well executed and a great scene transition. Now, in a lot of games, when it comes to jump scares, it's just cheap, just shallow. They want to make you jump, and they do, more often than not, succeed. When it comes to a horror game, I don't want that. I want more of a creep factor. Where this game kind of goes over the top, though, they abandon horror for gross. And I've talked about that before on my channel, how I like scary, I like psychological, but playing horror, but playing it gross isn't horror to me. It's shock value, kind of like a jump scare. But at the same time, more often than not, this game succeeds with the visuals, like stunning you, like, wow, what is that? What am I looking at? What is this guy doing? And you know, you go into other games where it's like you got massive worlds and horror and whatnot, and then this scene right here, oh my god, I was not expecting this to happen. I mean, I knew I was going to kill him, but I wasn't expecting this to happen.
Screwed up than I thought it was going to be. Oh, God. That's just so bad. Oh, my heart.
I mean, geez, I was expecting to kill him, and I kind of wanted to see what the outcome was going to be, but I didn't expect my guy to go ham on him like that. I was like, what the heck? That's just cruel and unusual and ew. And that's the sort of thing that this game does play on, is the darkness and the fear that you should have for the darker elements of society. Like, not just the monsters out there in the city, but the darkness within you. And that sort of thing is just like, ooh. That's the good kind of horror.
I'm an idiot. I should have just let him go. Let him alone.
All in all, I do have to say that this is probably one of the better horror games that I've ever played. Just based solely on the fact that they really play off of everything. Not just the horror elements, like, oh my god, scary monsters, and darkness, and what's going on here, and the psychedelic trips. But you'll see when we get into the next part that they kind of abandon the horror and go for psychological thriller more, which is not bad. I like psychological thrillers. Moving into the red light district, this is where it took the turn that I didn't like, because they went less for the horror and more for the shock factor. That room in general, in specific I should say, was the worst, because it was just gross for grossness sake. Moving through the city, though, you'll see, like, the enemies that you face are interesting. Like, who are these people? But the trick of it is, with the masks, they basically tell you that these people are anybody. They're beasts, they're monsters, yes, but they could be anybody under those masks. And that in itself really talks about, like, society in general and whatnot. And I like that, because I've often stated that the worst monsters in horror are always the humans. Like bringing up Mist again from Stephen King. Really demonstrated just how scary humanity can be in these situations.
Oh no. I got a cold-blooded trophy. Uh-huh. Just let her go in already so I can move.
As we get closer to the end here, I do want to mention that I'm going to live stream the end of the game today, around noon my time. Hopefully I won't be late, but I was going to record more of it last night, but after I finished the hour-long marathon running through the game, I was just emotionally drained and exhausted and whatnot. So I was like, I got to give it up, because this game, playing it for you guys the way I play it, worked out well for me, but it really cut a lot of the horror aspect out of it. And it wasn't scary. But then playing it by myself, I was quiet most of the time, just taking in the scenery, and it really helped.
Oh, yeah. Alright, so this is where we left off. The end of last episode. Down there is the darkness that we face ahead. I am going to take a break, however, because I've been recording for almost an hour, and I am tired and hot and sweaty. But anyway, I'll be right back.